A sunny springtime Sunday afternoon here in the eternal city of Rome. We welcome you to the race 4 final of the second round of the Italian F4 Championship here at Vallelunga in a beautiful setting here north of the Italian capital. Nice to have your company. We have raced 3 times already this weekend. 43 drivers from 28 nations around the world. We're down to the final 36. A tremendous crowd here this weekend. We have just wrapped up the previous race, which was the Italian GT3 Championship, the Sprint Championship. And you can see the crowd has built nicely for the final race of the afternoon here at Vallelunga. Well, it's not only some drivers here of interest, but also other people involved in series. Let's cross down to Laura.
Good afternoon, everyone. Here we are with Goofy Pirro. Hi, Goofy. Very nice to see you again here.
Thank you. It's very nice to be back. I live just close by, and I thought it's a nice Sunday. What is better to do than to come to Vallelunga?
Good choice. So you won in the 2024 with Christian Slater as a team manager.
Yeah, Freddie Slater was a really good driver. It was a strong season for us in Prema. You know, the competition in F4 is very strong. It's nice to be back. Obviously, it brings back a lot of memories, a lot of pressure, but it was really a privilege.
But Slater is not the only drivers.
No, I mean, to work in Prema was a privilege at the time. Slater, we had Arvid Lindblad, we had Gabriel Bortoleto, Rafael Camara, James Wharton, a lot of really talented drivers that came through when I was in the team. And to work with such strong drivers is really a privilege, especially the year I had Camara, I was an engineer, and we were fighting against Kimi Antonelli, who was in the same team. So a little bit of a derby inside the box. It's really it's a privilege to be able to work with drivers of that level.
Always good. So Formula 4 is a junior formula, not only for drivers.
Correct. Last year I was doing FIA Formula 3, which is an international championship, still with Prema. So like the drivers, even for the staff, F4 is where you learn, where you enter into motorsport, you learn how to do your job, first as an engineer, then a team manager, and then like the drivers, even the staff learn here and progress forwards, and then hopefully one day in Formula 1, who knows.
Quite of memories of Vallelunga.
Yeah, a lot. I can think of a lot. My first podium as an engineer was here, and then in 2021, Van Amersfoort with Oliver Behrman, the brother of Thomas, whose car we're right next to, was so fast, and we were scratching our heads all weekend. It's really a lot of things happen in Vallelunga.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the weekend. Ciao.
Yes, if the name sounds familiar, the surname at least, Goffredo Pirro, race engineer and team manager with the Prema team. They won the title with Freddie Slater in 2024, managing the Prema team in the FIA Formula 3 series. He is the son of the former Grand Prix driver, 5 times Le Mans champion Emanuele Pirro, and Goofy's older brother, Chris, now working as a race engineer for Franco with the Alpine team in Formula 1. Thomas Behrman will try and get a word with the Englishman, as Goffredo or Goofy did allude to. It was Ollie, his older brother, who won the series, including a clean sweep at this circuit 5 years ago. So with that, let's go down and hear from the young Englishman, Thomas Behrman.
So Thomas, you are the best of the Van Amersfoort cars. So what do you hope for this final race? And did you have any advice from your brother?
Yeah, I mean it's a tough position to start. It's not where we want it to be, but you know, I think we've done our job this weekend, and as well I'm struggling a bit myself with condition physically, but otherwise, no, my brother hasn't helped me. I think he's pretty busy himself, so I'll leave him to his own jobs. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. Hopefully fight close to the front.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thomas Behrman, it is actually his second and a half year racing in Formula 4. First racing in cars in 2024. Just a few races, including in the E4 Championship, which is back in 2026, kicking off at Paul Ricard in July. He actually won in the British Championship at Alton Park last year. 4 podiums in the Winter Series to kick off 2026. Thomas starts on the inside of the 4th row. He's the best of the Van Amersfoort racing team cars, the Dutch team who have won this championship twice, with Dennis Hauger in 19 and Thomas's older brother 2 years later. Let's go back down to Lauda with Oscar Repetto.
Hi Oscar, so very quick this weekend and the rookie podium, so how do you feel about the last race?
I feel confident. I feel confident we can move forward. I also feel that for sure there's a lot of people, fast people around us, so we're gonna have to be careful around everyone, and for sure we can make some positions for the final. So I'm excited to gain some points and maybe get on the podium again, and yeah, be fighting in the front, which we're supposed to be doing. So yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
The driver with 3 passports, yes, Oscar Repetto, officially from New Zealand, also with Italian and Swedish heritage, calls Monaco home these days, racing for the German PHM racing team here in the Italian Championship. He starts actually alongside Thomas on the 4th row of the grid. The AS Racing drivers lock out the front row. Luca Samalisto, who won yesterday and this morning, alongside race 2 winner Ed Robinson. The AS Racing drivers absolutely dominant so far this weekend. We'll get to the entire grid for you in just a moment. I can bring you news that some big names will not make the final. One driver whose will is also for AS Racing. His name is Alex Savinkov.
Alex, 3 US drivers in the top 5. So are you confident to race with your teammates and for the victory?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps that we can work together to outdo Prema and then decide between us who will be winner.
Thank you.
Alexander Savinkov starting on grid 5. There are 3 AS Racing drivers inside the top 5. Don't discount the red and white machines. Al Paxo is still unofficially just the championship leader. Starts inside 2nd row of the grid. Well, we had race 2 this morning, the Roman here in Rome. The big news is that Nicolo Marchignani, the Ferrari Junior driver, is out at 27th yesterday And a crash in the first corner with Alexander Ruta, and Nicolo Maccagnani will not race at his home circuit this afternoon. 43 drivers, these are the final 36 qualifiers. Also the Mercedes junior Andy Consani missing the cut. Alexander Ruta, who was running in P2 yesterday, does not race the final. The good news though is the PA racing driver Ginevra Panzeri. She has scraped into the field just out of shot beneath the Regione Lazio sign. She will line up on grid 36, the 18th and final row of the grid. The sun shining here this afternoon at Vallelunga. It is the second of 7 rounds, the 13th season of the Italian F4 Championship, presented by the Automobile Club of Italy together with WSK Promotion. The crowd building nicely before the start. Let's go down and hear from the Turkish championship leader, Alpaksoy, speaking with Laura.
I have a lot of fun for you, and are you ready for the final race?
Yeah, we're ready. We got a bit unlucky in the other 2 races, but we've got the pace and our starting position isn't that bad. Let's see what we can do in this one.
Thank you.
I believe if Alpaksoy does win this, well, they'll be celebrating in the streets of Istanbul tonight. The young Turkish rookie, a future superstar. He is the championship leader after Misano. Starts inside second row of the grid in car 10. It is the 4th final race of the afternoon, the second of 7 rounds for 2026. He's alongside his Romanian teammate, David Cosma-Christopher.
It will be very hot, so are you ready for the final race?
Yeah, obviously everyone waited for this race for a really long time. I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait to start it.
Thank you.
DCC out of grid 4, the Romanian who was fastest in his group of qualifying on Friday evening. So the AS racing drivers 1, 2, with Samalisto and Robinson, second row of the grid, Aksoy and David Cosma-Christopher. The drivers from Istanbul and Bucharest, respectively. Samalisto from Tampere in Finland, and Robinson, the Brit, from Mallorca in Spain, for the German team here in the Italian Championship. On the front row of the grid, 36 drivers for race 4 here this weekend, after we kicked off 1 fortnight ago at the circuit Marco Simoncelli on Italy's Misano Adriatic coast. The second round at Vallelunga. From here, we go to the home of the Italian Formula 1 Grand Prix. That's in 3 weeks' time at Monza. This is the grid. Luca on pole. Ed, who won race 2 yesterday, his first Italian victory, starts out of grid 2. Then it's the Prema duo Alpaksoy and David Cosma-Christopher out of grid 4. Third row of the grid sees David Walter and Alexander Savinkov. David for the Muffy Racing Team just ahead of Thomas, and Oscar, the drivers from the British Commonwealth, on the 4th row of the grid, who spoke to Laura just a few moments ago before the start. Behrman, whose older brother, made a clean sweep at this circuit 5 years ago. The Swiss rookie Florentin Hattemauer, who's been super quick, as has Ari Bansal, last year's GB4 Series champion, the Sicilian Ludovico Busso, and the second-generation racer Ian Kraling, starting alongside Artem Severukian, back on 13, so close to a podium this morning. Last year's Australian champion from Sydney, Noah Killian, and the former junior World Cup racing champion, the Mercedes junior Kenzo Craigie, alongside the British rookie Roman Kamia Bondarev. Back on grid 17, alongside Nud Nielsen. The Real Racing Team have been outstanding this weekend. Kingsley Zhang, Elia Weiss, also from Germany, out of grid 20. We go to Lupa Roykov, who's alongside Levian for Trident Motorsport and Gensa Motorsport, respectively. In fact, it's a Gensa trio because Nicolas Cortez, El Mexicano, and the Kuwaiti, Qatari, I should say, apologies, Badr Al-Salati is alongside Dominic Shimak and Federico Diaz for the Alpha 54 team. Jacopo Martinez, Gender from Hungary for RHGP out of grid 28. Becco Bernaldi from Brazil into the grid alongside Evan Michelini from Costa Rica. Roland Kukulane is alongside Alexander Ruta, who has in fact just scraped in grid 32 ahead of Emily Cotti. Andre Rodriguez for Cram Motorsport from Colorado in the United States of America. The second Maffei Racing Team driver, Igor Polak, and Ginevra Panzeri for the PA Racing Team. Car 64, grid 36, the 18th and final row. The sun shining here this afternoon, just on 30 degrees Celsius, a beautiful springtime summer afternoon. As the 30-second board about to go up. The final action on track this weekend here at Vallelunga. This third Acci Racing weekend of 2026. The Automobile Club of Italy, together with WSK Promotion, brings you the world's most competitive junior car racing series, and we're about to find out why. The drivers from Finland, from Great Britain, Turkey and Romania on the first four grid positions. The 1.4 litre turbocharged Alto Technica tuned Abarth engines into life. This is critical. We saw this as an issue at Misano. Sitting there is no airflow. And some of these cars, well, the temperature was past boiling point at over 110 degrees at times. So they'll want to get away very quickly. There are the championship standings. Alpak Soy is the championship leader. From Luca Samalisto, that will change throughout the course of the race. Although Alp may still take the championship lead to Misano in 3 weeks' time. It is a 25 lap plus 1 minute race. If you're joining us for the first time this weekend, nice to have your company wherever you're joining us live around the world. Luca Samalisto won race 1 yesterday. Robinson, who was the fastest qualifier on Friday night, he won race 2. And Luca coming home in P1 again this morning. Maybe a problem for one of the Genser cars. Now does get underway. That was a nervous moment there for Elia Weiss. Ahead of his Genser Motorsport teammate, Levian. But they are underway. This is down into chimney 1 and 2, the bottom part of this circuit. Top speed just under 240 kilometres an hour. Perfect conditions here this sunny springtime afternoon, about 30 kilometres north of the Italian capital. The city which was once the centre of the known universe, the centre of the Roman Empire. This is the Long Valley, Vallelunga circuit. First race in the late 1940s, as we see an issue for Roland Kukulane. This may well be what we were speaking about before. It is a warm afternoon trying to get that car to fire. Roland Kukulane, the Estonian, for PHM Racing, was to have started on the 16th row of the grid, but now being pushed to the side. The slowest corner in the championship in the background, with a minimum speed is just 56 kilometres an hour. You can see the rubber, which has been painted onto the circuit just a few moments ago. The Italian GT3 Sprint Championship, ready to race for the final time here at Vallelunga. Oscar Repetto, car 6 for PHM Racing. The German team who took pole position at this circuit last year with David Cosman Christopher. 1 year later, well, Cosman Christopher was still fastest in qualifying on Friday, but now driving a red and white Prema car. Starts on the second row of the grid. This is the pole sitter from Tampere in Finland, Lucas Samalisto, on pole position. Centre screen, Niccolo Maccagnani, a helpless spectator is the Roman. We'll see him back on June 21 at Monza, the third and next round of the Italian Championship. The sun shining here this afternoon at Vallelunga as the final cars make their way through the corner. They will be struggling to see the lights. There is a second gantry, but have to rely on the flag as well. 36 cars on the grid from the original 43 entries here for the second round of the Italian F4 Championship here at Vallelunga. The green flag flies at the back of the grid. The 5 red lights for the final time here in Rome. We race. Fantastic launch from Samalisto. Gets the jump. Robinson through into second place. Savinkov around the outside trying to make it an us racing 1, 2, 3 in the opening stages of race 4. Savinkov goes by into position 4. He's already taken the first of the Prema Racing drivers. Fights back around the outside does Cosman Christopher. Samalisto, a perfect start. The Finn trying to take his third win of the weekend as we see Weiss going off the road, as does Ginevra. Panseri into the gravel as a rear wing, in fact a front wing goes flying into the gravel in the background. A clean start out front, the same cannot be said. Further back in the pack, Samalisto with the race lead from Robinson, Cosman Christopher. Aksoy has retaken the place from Savinkov, Walter, Repetto, Barnsell. Behrman has lost 2 positions back to P9. Ian Kraling rounds out the top 10 in the early stages of race 4 here this afternoon. Alexander Bondarev trying to make his way up through the pack as we see Walter down the inside. Thomas around the outside just moments before the safety car came out onto the circuit. Behrman going by and taking Walter and Repetto seemingly moments before the safety car came out. And this is the reason why. Eva Michelini, Elia Weiss and Bader Al-Salati out on the first lap of the race. The Costa Rican, the German and the Qatari out on the first lap of race 4 as Samalisto leads them across the line for the first time. Full course yellow, the safety car out onto the track. This is Elia Weiss. No, in fact, it's Severukian. We've lost Severukian and also Bondarev. Bondi is out. So Severukian and Bondarev, Alexander furious. It has been a forgettable weekend for the Ukrainian. That's down in Tornantino, the slowest corner in the championship. It seems as though Severukian and Bondarev have come together in a separate incident apart from that of Michelini, Weiss and Al-Salati. This is that trio. Weiss out into the gravel. That's Ginevra in the background. She does get back on track. Igor Pollock goes on through, actually makes up a few places, goes through ahead of Becco Bernaldi. So Samalisto with the race lead from Robinson, Cosman Christopher, Aksoy, Savinkov, Walter, Repetto. Thomas Behrman being told by his team that that pass was made under full course yellow, so has done the right thing and allowed Oscar to go back through. Thomas drops back to P8 correctly. Credit to the Brit. As we see Igor Polak down in pit lane. In fact, it's Federico Diaz. It's Diaz in Alpha 54. So the Argentine is out. So Behrman in P8, Barnsell, Kraling, Busol, Craigie, Haftamar, Nielsen, another superstar from the Dane and the real racing car. And Kingsley Chang, position 15, the final points paying position. So 3 separate incidents, the first of which eliminates the Costa Rican Evan Michelini for Antonelli Motorsport. You can see Severukin's car to the bottom right. He's out in Torrentino. Vice Al-Salati coming together with Evan Michelini. Bondarev and Severukin. And Federico Diaz, the Argentine, pulls into pit lane to retire from the final race of the weekend. The sole remaining Alpha 54 team. The Alpha 54 team car, in fact, after the retirement earlier this weekend of Diego Palottini. New team on the grid for 2026, Alpha 54 desde Argentina. The team of Gregorio Mandrini and Nicolas Bianco, the ex-Alpha Tauri F1 team staff, with their new team. It's been a tough start for Gregorio and Nicolas. Their sole entry here this weekend, Federico Diaz, out on the first lap. So we expect this safety car period may take some time. The order out front: Samalisto, Robinson, Cosmo Christopher, Aksoy, Savinkov, Walter, that's Repetto. Going through, Thomas. Just behind his Behrman. Barnsell and Ian Kraling. This is critical. As you can see, Al Paxoy would still just hold the lead in the championship. He is 4th on the road at the moment. 144 points. Lucas Samalisto P1 at the moment. 138 points, 6 points behind. As Vice's car comes back the long way. Cosmo Christopher, DCC P3 in the championship on 121. And Robinson, 110 points, currently in 4th place. Still a long way to race, of course. It's the second of 7 rounds after the season opener at Misano 2 weeks ago. This is Vallelunga, round 2. Round 3 at the home of the Italian Formula 1 Grand Prix on June 21. Look at the mess. Bondarev's damaged car 27 in Torrentino, involved with Severukin. Round 4, Mugello on the last weekend of July. Imola on the first weekend of September. Misano on the 20th of September as Thomas goes through in 87. And the 13th Italian F4 champion will be decided on the first day of November, also at Mugello, which seems a long way off, but it will come up quite quickly. That is the championship decider for 2026. At least one more lap under the safety car as we retrieve the cars of Severukin and Bondarev, also Bader Al-Salati, Elia Weiss, Evan Michelini. Federico Diaz has pulled into pit lane to be greeted by the Alpha 54 team. The Argentine has also retired. Lap 4, safety car, Samalisto with the race lead from Robinson. Their teammates going on through. Barnsell from Ian Kraling and Busso. Alpaxoy P4 and the first rookie as well. This is Kenzo Craigie, car 34 in P12, the third of the rookies. So we are waiting for word from our race director, Mr. Dino Lodola, assistant race director, Miss Susanna Coletta, driver standards advisors, former racers, Mr. Arino Mastronardi, Gabriele Lancieri, and representing the Automobile Club of Italy, ACI, former racer, former Italian GT champion, one-time Ferrari Formula 1 test driver, briefly, if we count 3 laps in Kimi's car at Yas Marina 15 years ago, Mr. Raffaele Gianmaria. So no word yet from Dino at the moment as we clear the cars littered around the circuit. Kingsley Zhang in 69 behind Nud Nielsen. Nielsen P14 in car 41. This is the Sicilian Ludovico Busso, car 29. His teammates in P1 and 2 on your screen. Samalisto, Robinson, Cosman Christopher. There's the news we've been waiting for. Safety car in this lap. And we'll race green to the checkered flag, hopefully. Race 4 here this afternoon. Confirmation, the bottom left of your screen. So here we go. 3 qualifying races. 3 group races thus far this weekend, all of which have been won by Us Racing, who are currently 1-2 as we get ready to race and restart here at Vallelunga. Samalisto, who won race 1 yesterday and race 3 this morning. Robinson, pole position on Friday night. This is Walter in 83 in P6. So it's Luca from Ed. The lights off on the Lamborghini. DCC in 3 from Aksoy. Savinkov, Walter for Maffey Racing. The first of the 2 New Zealanders, Oscar de Beto, Behrman, Barnsell, Ian Kraling in P10, just ahead of his teammate, Ludovico Busso. Robinson glued to the back of his teammate. The green flag flies now. Samalisto accelerates, gets a good jump as they go through the chicane. We're back up to full racing speed through the Roma Curva. Across the line, the green flag flies, and we race green once again here at Vallelunga. Samalisto, Robinson, Cosman Christopher, Aksoy, Walter on the back of Alexander Savinkov, the Dane looking for his 4th podium thus far in 2026. There's the British rookie, Roman Kamyab, who's still in the race in P16. Has been off-road, but is still on circuit as Repetto goes wide. Behrman around the outside, nicely done. Thomas goes by Oscar. Turns in early does Lucas Samalisto. The back part of the circuit from 227 kilometers an hour down into 3rd gear, and then this short shoot up into 5th gear. This 150-degree left-hander braking down to 77 kilometers an hour and then accelerating hard up to the infield section. The gap, half a second between Samalisto and Robinson. Clean restart for the moment. This is Kenzo Craigie on the inside of Ludovico Busso. The Jamaican, French, Brit, the Mercedes Junior. Here's Repetto on the outside, but he's off the rubber line. Kenzo may well take the both of them as they go into La Curva Roma. The Roman corner. Kenzo on the outside. Now gets the slipstream, gets the run down the inside, does not need the slipstream. They go wheel to wheel to wheel, 3 wide, racing down the straight. It's Oscar from Kenzo and Ian Kraling. Back to Busso, Hatteman, Nielsen, and Kingsley Zhang, 3 wide, flat down through La Cordovone, 236 kilometers an hour. Braking hard down into Chimney 1. Oscar on the inside, awesome from the Kiwi. But Kraling is still there. The 2nd generation racer rides the ripple strip. KC tries to go on through as Luca and Ed pull away. It's Us Racing. 1-2, race 4, round 2. The Italian F4 Championship here at Vallelunga. Oscar under attack from Craigie. Kraling, Busso, the Sicilian. Florentine Hattemer, there's Nud Nielsen, who's had a brilliant weekend thus far. The sole entry for the Real Racing team. On the outside, Kingsley Zheng just behind. Then it's Cortez, Roman Kamyab, and Dominic Shimak. Kenzo has got through, but look at them starting to bottleneck just behind. Hattemer in 50, Nielsen in 41, off the road. Almost throws it away, does Ludovico. Nielsen now tries to capitalize. The Dane trying to take the Sicilian. There's contact further back. Avoidance there. Shimek was slow coming out of Tornantino, as if that corner is not slow enough. Nielsen and the Dane races on by. He's got Zheng and Kamyab just behind. Samalisto, the gap is out to 0.9 of a second over his British-Spanish teammate. This is Roman on debut. In the Italian Championship is the Brit in car 4 for the Prema Racing team. Flat, 6th gear. Down through Cordovone, again into Chimney 1. Cortez just behind. The Mexican. This is Thomas. Behrman just ahead of the Indian Ari Bansal. Back to the front. Luca ominously with a 35.1. Fastest on circuit from Robinson. Cosman, Christopher, Axoy, Savinkov, Walter, Behrman, Bansal, Craigie, Repetto, Krayling. Then this battle, Hattemer, the Sicilian Busso, Nielsen for Real Racing, and Roman Kamyab currently in the points in 15th in this 43-car entry field on debut in the Italian Championship. Dominic Shimak just behind, ahead of Cortez and Kingsley Zheng. So now we settle into a rhythm as we look at car 9. This is Robinson. Slight wheel spin coming out. In fact, he was telling us that's why he did not get the start in races 2 and 3 yesterday and this morning on the dirty side of the circuit. Initially did get a good jump, and then it just burst into wheel spin. And that was why he was jumped by his teammate Luca Samalisto, who's currently leading in position 1, position 3, DCC. David Cosman Christopher, second year in the series for the Romanian, who's in 3rd place. He's the first of the Prema Racing drivers. Flat down through Cordovone into Chimney 1. Braking down hard into 3rd gear. This corner right here, 121 kilometers an hour. Behrman gets on the power early, up into 4th, up into 5th. Bansal just behind. Came so close to taking a maiden victory at Misano. This is Walter. 3 podiums thus far. The first of the 2 Maffei Racing drivers. Currently in P6. The Swiss-Ethiopian team with the Danish driver here in the Italian Championship. Currently in 6th place. So after the safety car eats up half the race distance, we are sprinting to the checkered flag. Just 8 Pirelli tyres for these drivers from the outset of qualifying. Flames out the exhaust. These turbocharged 1.4 litre engines coming out of Semaforo Tornantino. Literally translates to traffic light and little corner. It sounds exotic in Italian. In English, not so much. This is La Curva Roma, the Roman corner. The only part of the circuit which maintains the original part, or the original shape of the circuit. Built just a few years after the end of World War II. First hosting horse racing 76 years ago. Samalisto, Robinson, Cosman Christopher. The gap between Luca and Ed, 1 second. Cosman Christopher currently on the podium. This is Axoy, building points in the championship, currently P4 and the first rookie. Bansal and Craigie. Ari from Kenzo. Positions 8 and 9, and Krayling still in P10. Fifth gear right here, 157 kilometers an hour. And then braking hard down into 3rd gear, into turn 10. Into Tornantino, the little corner where Alexander Bondarev retired in the early stages. Samuelistol leads by 1 second. This is Robinson in second place. Cosman Christopher, Aksoy now being caught by Alexander Savinkov. They both slide sideways. Brilliant skill from these two young talents. 4 and 5, Aksoy, the top rookie, still just the championship leader as we go to Monza on June 21 for the third round of the championship. This is Alexander Savinkov, the Russian-Ukrainian. Yes, he's 50% each. Deal with that whichever way you'd like. Racing with an Italian license, P5. Ahead of Walter, Behrman, Bouncel, Robinson. Race winner for the first time 24 hours ago after he took pole position on Friday with a time of 1:34.378. About 1 second off those times at the moment. Currently Luca with a 1:35.134. Aksoy. P4, the top rookie, former WSK race winner. We remember that incredible race win at South Garda Karting Lonata with the Tony Kart racing team. The Supermasters Series back in 2023. His first major international victory. Will still take the championship lead just to Monza in a few weeks' time. Craigie still on the back of Barnsel. There's Thomas in P7 in car 87. The best of the Van Amersfoort racing team cars. Walter just ahead, starting to pull away. Cleaner line that time from Savinkov. Walter in the background, not so much. Over the ripple strip goes the Dane in car 83, P6. The gap last time, 1.05 of it. It's exactly the same, 1.01. Okay, very close to a second between the two US racing teammates. Only once they've won the Italian Championship. That was at 2023 with Kasper Stuka. In fact, the pole wrapped up the title at this very Roman circuit. .333 left on the clock if we did not have a series favourite coming into this weekend. Well, certainly we've got one, possibly two now. Samuelistol looking at his third potential victory in 24 hours. Made easier after the non-qualification of the Ferrari Junior here on his home circuit. Niccolò Marcagnani after a frightening crash this morning. Niccolò is okay, but is a spectator from pit lane here this afternoon, helpless to watch on. Trackside this afternoon, he's not on track after not qualifying for this afternoon's final race. Neither did the Mercedes Junior, Andy Consani. Aksoy controls the wheel spin. Going down into the final stages of race 4 here this afternoon. Savinkov still trying to get by the young Turk for P4. Down into Chimney 1, you can see Savinkov skates under brakes. Does well to keep that car in a straight line. Walter in the background driving as hard as he possibly can. Car 83 for the Maffei racing team. Behrman in the background. Here comes an attack from Kenzo Craigie, the two Brits. Kenzo on the inside of Thomas, into the marbles, almost into the grass. Casey goes on through. Thomas on the outside with the grip. After Kenzo was in the marbles, he's on the inside, it becomes the outside. Behrman, as they break hard down into this left-hander, down into third gear. Behrman holds off Craigie for the moment. Kenzo fights back. Fabulous racing between the two Brits and the Indian just behind, Ari Barnsel in P9. Watch the attack into Tornantino. On the outside, Thomas intelligently just puts the car in the middle of the road, accelerates, controls the wheel spin. Kenzo slightly better as he gets the drive. In the background, here comes Barnsell and Ian Kraling as well. Into the Roma corner. Samalisto 1.2 seconds clear off his teammate. We'll get the last lap board next time round. We start lap 14. Samalisto, Robinson, Cosmo Christopher in P3. Aksoy, Savinkov, Walter. And then the battle between Behrman and Craigie. A great weekend for Ed Robinson, even though it looks as though he'll unlikely pass his teammate as Luca puts in a 35 dead. 0.91 for the Finn. This is Walter. Behrman, Craigie. Turns in early. Closes the door on the Mercedes Junior for RHGP just behind. So the clock ticks over 25 minutes now. We'll do one more lap next time round. The last lap board for Lucas Samalisto. In P1, Kenzo still desperate to get by Thomas. Barnsell behind, Kraling, Busso, Roberto, Hatama, Roman Kamyap, and Nud Nielsen at the moment, the final points paying position. In position 15, Kenzo dives up the inside, locks the brake. Thomas gives him space. The two Brits go wheel to wheel. Behrman with the momentum. Barnsell is catching the both of them. The last lap of this weekend here in Rome. Samalisto crosses the line now. He's got 1.5 seconds back to his teammate Robinson. Lucas Samalisto almost into the 134s. He won race 1 yesterday. He won race 3 this morning. His teammate Robinson won race 2 last night. The German US racing team of Gerhard Unger and Ralf Schumacher have dominated this weekend here in Rome. They run 1-2. Cosman Christopher in third. Back to Aksoy. Still the championship leader going to Monza in a few weeks' time. Savinkov and Walter. Craig is still desperate to try and get by Behrman. Car 87 in P7. Into turn 10 for the final time. Braking down to third gear, 81 kilometres an hour on the apex. And into the slowest corner in the championship for the final time in 2026. The German US racing team, they won here in 2025 with Gabriel Gomez. The team from Germany, US Racing, they come to Rome and they conquer the Vallelunga circuit. 1-2 for US Racing. Once again for the third time in 24 hours. The checkered flag waves. It's the Finn who takes the win. Samalisto wins. Robinson second. David Cosman Christopher crosses the line in P3 from Aksoy. Still just the championship leader. Savinkov, Walter Behrman does hold off Craigie. There's Barnsell. Kraling, great weekend for the young German. And it's Busso, Roberto, Kamyab, Hatame, and Nud Nielsen in the points again for Real Racing. 15th out of 43 cars here this weekend. Luca with a 34.962 on his final lap of the race, the only driver under the 135-second bracket. Luca Samalisto wins for the third time here this weekend. Surely he is now a favourite for the 2026 Italian F4 Championship. Samalisto wins, Robinson second. US Racing dominate here in Rome. They have conquered the Vallelunga circuit. Also finishing in P5 with Savinkov, P9 with Barnsell, and P10 with Ian Kraling, and 11th with Ludovico Busso. Dare I say, Gerhard will even crack a smile down in Victory Lane. Thanks for the champagne last night, by the way. Vielen Dank, Gerhard, and the US Racing team. Thanks for the Peronis once again, Dave Robinson. And I know Luca's parents, yep, they'll bring the Finnish vodka. Gerhard Unger's team have dominated as we check the results of race 4 here. Samalisto Robinson, 1-2 for Us Racing. Then the Premier Duo, Cosmo Christopher. Now Albaxoy is still the championship leader. He wins the rookie race in P4 from Savinkov, Walter Behrman, Craigie, the second rookie, Barnsel, Krayling, Busso, Oscar de Peto, P12 on the rookie podium once again. Roman Kamyab, great debut for the young Brit Hattemer, and Knut Nielsen for Real Racing picks up the final point in P15. In all seriousness, Gerhard Unger, engineering mastermind for so many years with Mercedes in the DTM Championship. It's now his show, and he dominates with his Finnish and English drivers for the moment here this afternoon. Third place for David Cosmo Christopher, just heading home his teammate Alp Aksoy. Aksoy P4, but still the championship leader. David third, Ed in second place. And the winner once again from Finland for the Us Racing team, Lucas Samalisto, who's down in victory lane, speaking to Lara Cola.
So Luca, congratulations again, a clean race, dominated from start to finish.
I mean, yeah, it was good race like all the other ones. Really happy with all the stuff we done this weekend and get the maximum points. Everything was P1 expected qualifying, so really happy about it, and can say that we did a hat trick, so really happy about it, and on to the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Kiitos, Suomi, kiitos, Luca. Samalisto takes the victory as we look at the highlights of a wild race 4 here at Vallelunga. Samalisto to the left of your screen, on pole position, jumped off the line, and from there the Finn was never headed. Pekko Bernoldi stalling at the back of the grid, but finally getting under away. Robinson in second place, Savinkov around the outside, going wheel to wheel with Aksoy. And then all hell broke loose. Elia Weiss into the gravel, as was Ginevra Panzeri. She did get back on track to finish the race. Bondarev out in the early stages, the Williams junior driver. He wasn't the only one. Artem Severukian also retiring. Great battle towards the end of the race between the two Brits, Thomas Behrman and Kenzo Craigie. Thomas just holding off Kenzo for P7 in car 87 towards the end of the race. But out front, the Finn, untouchable again. Lucas Samalisto wins the race 4 final here at Vallelunga this afternoon. David to the right of your screen, Ed to the left, and Luca right in the centre. Once again, a great pleasure to have the great Mr. Giancarlo Minardi, the founder of his own racing team, Minardi Formula One. They actually had Vallelunga as a regular test circuit up until Paul Stoddart took over the team, and it became later Toro Rosso. Won their first Grand Prix in 2008. Mr. Giancarlo Minardi presents the trophy to the race winner, Luca Samalisto.
Inno nazionale, national anthem. E questo era l'inno nazionale del vincitore. Now it's time for the official photo. Please, with the trophy.
Alpaxoy comes home in P4, is still just the championship leader on 144 points. Samalisto 138. David Crossman Christopher to the right of your screen. Third here this afternoon, third in the series on 121. And Robinson fourth in the series. From here, we go to the home of the Italian Formula One Grand Prix. That is Monza on the 21st of June for round 3 of the Italian F4 Championship, presented by the Automobile Club of Italy together with WSK Promotion. Thanks for watching here at Vallelunga. We'll see you next month at Monza.